Hello. Tomorrow night's game takes on a whole new meaning now because the manager's kind of put himself in the spotlight here by saying what he did about the players, how they're letting them down, and how their egos are running wild. Right? That's great. He's noticed that. He talks about the players need to have courage and need to be brave when they're playing for the Rangers. That means he needs to have courage and be brave and drop the players he's talking about. Now, I've been thinking about this all day and yesterday, as we all have. Who does it? We can guess who it means. It probably means the players from last season. It will mean the players from last season. The reason being, he's watched every game since January allegedly, and I've no doubt about that he has done. And they've done the same as they've done last season. They've won in Europe, done well-ish. We're through, so they've done well in Europe. And then they've disappointed in the league the game after. That's not acceptable anymore. And he's seen that, and he's got to have the courage of his convictions and drop the players that he thinks weren't performing well. What worries me is, and I'm not saying he'll do this, I think he will drop them. I do think he will drop them, but the team sheet goes up on Tuesday night and the same player, it's more or less the same team, the same players in the same position. I was like, right, okay. You've kind of got to look at them again and think, are you the real deal or not? And as much as I'm going against everything I've said, that has to be a question we ask. Now, if my default at the time is the manager knows more than us about football, and they wouldn't be in the position they're in. But if you've got an electrician comes to your house, right, the electrician knows more than you to fix X bit of kit. See if he fails 3 times to do it, you've got to then question him, do you really know what you're doing? You know what I mean? And that's maybe a very simplistic way of looking at it, but it's kind of the easiest way to look at it. You know what I mean? I know if I fail 3 times at my job, I'm on the next chopper home. But I'm not saying the manager's not going to be sacked. But you know what I mean? He would need to be dragged into the office, upstairs in the boardroom, saying, what's going on here? Now, I know people say he only plays one, he doesn't have a A, B, C game, he can only do one way. I think during the interview process, and I believe there was 5 interviews or chats or whatever you want to call them, there's no way that the new board didn't ask him, what happens if it's not working the way you're doing, what you're going to do, and he'll put the presentation. I know I've seen one of his presentations, I know it's done the rounds on WhatsApp and that, it's really impressive. But one of the questions that have been asked is, can you change it and how will you change it? So he'll have done that. But if he doesn't drop the players that let him down on Saturday night, what worries me is he comes out after the game and says, well, I had a talk with them 1-to-1 and they said they would do it different. And see if that doesn't work. That means nothing. You've got to drop the players you'd think have failed you. It's as simple as that, I'm loath to talk about Tav. He needs to be dropped. There's no 2 ways about it. I don't like talking about Tav because it messes up the comments and people go mental. He has been a good servant, but he's not a winner. That's a fact. He is a captain. I don't think he'll lose a captaincy, but we'll see. He won't. The gaffer won't. Well, I don't think he will. But tomorrow night, I'm kind of worried about it. I'm not looking forward to it. It should be. It's like, oh God, what happens if this doesn't happen? If we don't win, if we get beat badly, if he plays the same team and the same players let him down. And also going back to my electrician analogy, Raskin needs to come back into where he was playing last season because he was one of our best players last year. If not the best player. Danilo needs drop. Play big Dessers, get him in there, get him doing his thing. He'll be dying to play. I know we're trying to sell him. I would rather keep him for the squad. But he's got to drop Danilo. I know they said he showed promise, he showed good things in pre-season, but he's not shown in the 3 matches we've played, So we'll see what happens, but it's a kind of worrying thing, but it's Russel Martin's first big test, and it is a big test. Does he have the courage of his own convictions to drop the players that have let him down and try something differently? As everyone's saying, play the players in their natural positions. You know what I mean? Anyway, if you've watched this far, thank you. I know, rabbiting on and boring. Cheers.